Hey everyone, this is Eric with Verse Design, and today I have another kind of special video for you. This one is going to be a collaboration with the wonderful Deligracy, and she agreed to furnish this build. We were talking about doing a collaboration a few weeks ago, and we were just doing other stuff. She was doing her Let's Play series, and I was doing my Let's Build series. So once I finished my Let's Build, I asked her if she wanted to furnish this house and do like a collaboration, and she agreed. And yeah, I think it's going to be really awesome. So far, obviously, I've finished the build. I have not even sent the file to her yet as I'm recording this commentary, so I'm really excited about that. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm really excited to see what comes of it. Yeah, so of course, down below in the description, you'll find the download link for this house, and you'll find the link to Deligracy's portion. I'll also add an annotation here. And of course, she's a phenomenal interior designer, so it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. And yeah, the build so far, we originally decided on a different lot, and we were just having some issues. It was something with my computer, I think. I'm not sure exactly. Every time I tried to load up the old lot, the previous one we were using, it would give me some error and it would like crash my game and stuff. So we decided on this lot, and I think I like this one a lot better. The other house that I had built wasn't as good as this one anyway, so it ended up working out. Yeah, right now we are just getting like the general shape of the house. I was really inspired by, actually, I think it was like a National Geographic documentary I was watching, and they showed this house in Greece, and it wasn't like a modern house, it was like a Grecian style home, but it was all white and it was like on this bright blue sea, and I thought it was just like the most beautiful house. It was so cool, and I wanted to do something like that, kind of like an all white house on the beach. It's just, I don't know, I thought it was really modern, so that's what we went with. And I was also trying to do something like very distinctly like a house that I would design, something that's very reminiscent of my style, because I think the juxtaposition of my style and Delhi's style is going to be really super cool. And I'm excited to see the outcome for sure. Yeah, this is like the shape that we basically settle with. I come back in and define it a little bit more and add some wood texture. But yeah, for the most part, it's like, I don't know, 80 to 90% white, I guess. Um, for a while, I was going with this dark wood theme, but it was just making the house look depressing. I wanted it to look like light and airy and like a open, beachy, modern home. And it just wasn't going there with that color on the porch and throughout the house later too. And it just wasn't working the way I wanted it to. So yeah, we come in and we switch it up a couple of times, and when I'm handing off the file to Deli, one thing that I wanted to say was I'm not sure about the flooring at all in at any part of this build. So I know that it would be really helpful to be able to change that to suit the interior, and I'm totally cool with that because I was a little bit flippant anyway, so I didn't really know. So yeah, I'm just gonna hand it off to her, and she's gonna do magic, and it's gonna be great. I think we're adding more to the house here. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting a shape that I want to add to the house and kind of balance it out. It was looking a little empty on the front, so I came in and, just did a few things and added like a little block addition to the front. And I realized all of the pieces are kind of like they look like they're moving like in a clockwise or counterclockwise depending on how you look at it fashion, and I wanted to like cut the center out to really emphasize that. And then instead of just being like an empty part of the house, I was thinking about maybe like knocking out all of the foundation in that square and you can just see into the ocean in the middle of the house. But the way that it turned out, the house was really small on the inside, and sorry, Deli, probably hard to work with. That is like not the best interior shape. I just kind of like built the house, and then when I was on the interior, like checking it out, it came out a little small, but it's not supposed to be like a huge family house. We agreed that we wanted to do something relatively small, and yeah, it was not, it was small, but it still somehow took me forever. That's just, I don't know, it just takes me forever to build in this game. I like to really take my time. And yeah, that's another addition we add in the back of the house, just balancing out the house with different like white modular shapes. And I think it looks cool, and I still think it would have looked great all white, but we do come in and change part of it to a wood texture, and it just it makes the house look like a beach house. I know it's just like one strip of wood down a part of the house, but I don't know. I really like how that looked, and it brought an element to it that wasn't so like stark white and like so like ultra modern. And yeah, I think it turned out fairly successful in that regard. I think we're just doing roof work at this point. Um, so often I find myself doing roofs in this game, and just like this one, like it's a one-story house, but somehow we used all 5 stories. I don't know. That happens all the time, I feel like. Yeah, just getting the right height on these. I thought if they were all like one step above each other or 2 steps, it would be a really slight difference, but it would be very noticeable. And that's kind of like the understated part of the house that I was really trying to emphasize. I didn't end up adding a garage or anything. It wasn't part of the design to begin with, so I tried, and there may be some footage towards the end of the video of me trying to do the garage. I think I cut most of it out, but yeah, it just wasn't working, and I don't know. I would. Who cares if you park outside? It's Aluna Island. It's like this beautiful seaside, like paradise, never rains. Like who cares? So yeah, I just didn't add a garage. I wanted the front of the house to be fairly private. There's a lot of glass on the front of the house, but I wanted it to be it's like segmented by the window lines, if you know what I mean. So like the front ends up fairly private, and it's more of like an entryway. And what I think is probably how the floor plan is going to turn out, because there's like no space in the front of the house. Sorry, Deli. It's probably going to turn out to be most of the stuff in the back. So yeah, I mean, I guess it. I don't know. It worked out so far, I think, and I think it's going to be a really successful collaboration. Yeah, this is when I'm running with like a darker theme for this house. I do all the windows in black, and I do a dark hardwood, and it just doesn't have the feel that I want. So we come back in and change all of the windows from black frames with a black tint to white with a white tint. So yeah, they look a lot more airy and a lot more beach appropriate. Yeah, this is the back of the house that I do mostly in, well, yeah, basically all in glass, because it has this beautiful seaside view out the window. So it would be really a shame not for that to not be all glass. And this is just getting everything blacked out the way I wanted it, and I do like it. I think it looks good, but it just, like I said, it just wasn't the style we were really going for. Yeah, just coloring more things black, doing the black wall paint. For some reason, it's one of my biggest annoyances with this game is that the into the future door doesn't match the windows, so you can't line them up seamlessly. Even though like the windows, the 2 styles, the 3 wide and the 1 wide, they match up like seamlessly. So why would the door not? I don't know. It's just a huge annoyance of mine. Yeah, one thing I really liked that I did in my Aluna Island Let's Build series was like the rock work outside in the front. So I decided to bring that to this build and do something similar, but I wanted like a really tropical feel to it. I wanted it to feel like, I don't know, I guess like an expensive tropical house was what I was going for. So I layer all of these different types of, I think those are the Island Paradise rocks, yeah, because they stack. That's the Island Paradise ones, and it turns out pretty cool, I think. It gives like a really unique vibe to the house because it's like really modern and very white, but there's a lot to it that's like tropical. There's flowers, there ends up being palm trees, there's rock work, there's like an infinity pool. So yeah, it turns out like a really good balance of tropical and modern, I think. And yeah, this takes a while to do this rock work because I was getting lighting glitches on some of the rocks. If you go down to the very bottom level, you can intersect the rocks with move objects and intersect them with the foundation, but it blacks it out sometimes, but only sometimes. I don't know. it was just giving me trouble. So I came back in after we finished, knocked out some of the old rocks, and then redid it. And I think it looks cool. We end up putting like planters or what should be planters on the sides of the outdoor patio on the back. And I think it ends up pretty successful. It looks really cool out back. It looks like a really like lush and private infinity pool out the back, and that's really the vibe I was going for, and I think it turned out really cool. We're almost done. I think there's just a little bit longer doing these rocks. And yeah, I even edited some of it out in like later in the video. So yeah, it took a long time. It was the most time consuming part of this, no doubt. And I think after we do the rocks here, we move to the front, I want to say. We might continue doing the back deck, but I think we do the front. And yeah, we jump around a lot. Sorry about that if that's annoying. I sometimes if I lose steam on one part of a project, I'll just say forget it and I'll come back to it later and with a fresh perspective. So, yeah, sometimes I'll be doing something and then be like, "Oh, okay, let's go decorate a bathroom." And we're no longer doing rock work outside. So, yeah, sorry if that's annoying. Just kind of filling in with the smaller rocks and adding a variation of rocks, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And yeah, the left or the right side of the house, rather, right here is almost done. That's basically what it looks like at the end. Like I said, though, we come in and add flowers and we add the into the future hedges and like stuff for the pool and just really make the back really nice. I was hoping there would be room for a hot tub, and honestly, there probably was if I had made it like a really serious part of the design, but I didn't because there's a pool. So if I could have fit it, I would have been stoked, but it just wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, I don't know. We just nixed it pretty early on. Here I can't get some of the parts of the pool wall to be covered with rock, so I just color it the color of the rock. I don't know. I think you can kind of tell, but it's whatever. It's not that big of a deal. And parts where it's really bad, we come back in and do a little bit more work. Yeah, I really like that the Into the Future rocks stack. I just wish there were more than three of them because doing this type of like extensive work with the rocks, you run out of like variants. There's not that many different ones, so I don't know. It starts looking repetitive and unrealistic. So I did my best to make it look realistic, and I think it looks pretty realistic. But you be the judge. Yeah, sorry if this is super boring. There's a ton of footage of me doing these rocks, but if you don't know how, I guess it's a good display of how to do it, I suppose. And yeah, that ends up covering the back. My main goal there was one, to make it look tropical, and two, to cover the white part that stuck into the ocean because it just looked really strange. It was not looking the way I wanted when I pulled out the back patio. So yeah, I think it serves a lot of purposes. Yeah, we are doing what we can to make the structure look like it's built out of the water. And I think that works pretty well. I cover most of the like stilted foundation on the bottom. I honestly could have just gotten away with using the normal foundation, but I used the stilted because I was going for a different style at first. And there you see what I'm talking about, the lighting glitches with those rocks. And again, we have to come in and change that, and it just takes again forever long. So yeah, sorry about that. But it's part of the process. It's part of how we got to where we are right now. And the front looks like not good for a while. I kind of abandoned it. I wanted to get like the vibe of the rest of the house before I moved to the front and did like the fascia. So I do the back and get this like island upscale modern house style in the back and then kind of bring that to the front, or try to. And the build was just so like simple and so monochromatic that I wanted to keep that in the landscaping. So the landscaping is basically greenery and white hydrangeas. The not Into the Future, the Island Paradise flowers. And these are out back. And I'm thinking about, well, I guess it's a little late now. I was thinking about knocking out the red and yellow flowers and just doing white, but I don't know. I've been kind of on the fence about it. So now, like when I see it now, I think it looks good. So I don't know. You be the judge. It comes with red, yellow, and white flowers. So yeah, and you see there's the really annoying lighting glitch. And we come back in and adjust it and just do final touches in the back. One of my favorite features of this house, like without question, is kind of the feature is the courtyard, and I think it segments the house in a way that may make it hard to furnish again. Sorry, Deli. But yeah, it I think it also adds a really unique feature to the house. It's entirely encased in glass, and you can see from the front of the house through a courtyard, through the back, over the pool, out over the bay. So, I don't know. I think it has a really nice effect, and that's kind of what we were going for. Yeah. I don't know exactly what to do for grass on the inside of it. I used the like grass colored carpeting, and then it doesn't really match the trees. So once we get the trees in, we come in and change the color of the carpet. But yeah, off camera, I used the Into the Future rugs, and those are great if you don't use like cheats and stuff when you play because it allows you to put plants and trees and whatever on top of the rugs, which is great. But that's what Move Objects does. So yeah, I just like used the more realistic textured carpet color, which is ironic, and used that instead. So I don't know. Deli can totally change it. She can change whatever she wants in this build. It's totally open, but yeah. And here's where we like second guess this all white color scheme. And I think maybe we should try colors and patterns on the exterior. But the more I did that, the more I realized that the house was just going a direction that didn't have like a very specific design. It was just like boxes that were colors with windows. And I really wanted to go for like an open design, like an airy design. And yeah, that's what we end up doing. We end up switching it back to all white with that yeah, that lighter, less orange color wood, the one that's not striped. And yeah, here I'm just adding a like a little patio deck area out the side of the house, and yeah, I think that ends up being a cool feature just because later we come back and like pull it off a little bit more. I just add like one more column or one more row, whatever, of floor tiling so it sticks out over the ocean a little bit and it just becomes like a feature on that part of the house, which was cool because it needed to be broken up. It was a huge blank square or rectangle rather. So, yeah, here we're just recoloring this part of the house. I kind of forgot about this side for a little bit. Honestly, I like was focusing on other parts of the house, like the courtyard and the backyard. So yeah, I kind of forgot about this part to be honest. But it turns out to be one of my favorite parts of the house. So yeah. I'm toying around with using that wood pattern in different parts of the house, but I felt like it lost its effect when I used it everywhere because then it was a white and wood house instead of being a white house with a wood accent. I don't know if that even makes sense, but it just felt it had a different feeling when I used more wood texture. It didn't have the like minimalist feeling that I was looking for this house. And when Deli and I were talking about what style to do for this house, she said to do something that is more like my style, something like really modern, maybe even something minimalist. And that's what this turned into. And I think it's going to be a really great like mashup of both of our styles. And this rooftop garden, once we moved away from the minimalist design and started working on this more like lively tropical design, I start wondering, well, I don't know, maybe I should add more tropical things. I feel like I'm maybe not doing enough tropical if that's the style I want. So we try this rooftop garden, and it's just weird for a lot of reasons. One, it has a tree on it. That's like number one, that little yellow tree. So, yeah, that's just weird. And all of the rocks, and there's no entrance to the like the roof. So, it was just weird. It gets nixed right away. Um Yeah, I was trying to maybe bring in more window shapes, but I don't know. It just that long window, I always feel like I want to use it, but it just has a weird look to it. I feel like it's only appropriate in bathrooms. I don't know. And here we come in to do the front of the house to do the windows again. I get this weird glitch sometimes. You can see me playing with it right there. That last window on the right gets a border on the side of it when I turn it inward. When like the shaded part is facing out, I get a strange border and it's so frustrating. I've Googled the problem and I couldn't find anything. And yeah, so we end up still going with that design, but there's this weird thick border on that part. I don't know. And as you can see on the white part in the front, there's like a big glass window in the middle, flanked by skinny windows. And I wanted to keep running with that and make it like a running theme for the house. And we do that again on the part of the house on the right, which is 5 wide instead of 7. So, yeah. And here we are using again that wooden texture from the back of the house, just trying to like pull it to the front of the house maybe, but with it being all on the right side of the house, I don't know. There was a lot of issues with it. So I just decided to go back to the original design, what I really wanted to do, which was like a minimalist all white beach house. And yeah, I mean, you can love or hate that. It's been done in The Sims before. People do all white houses, but yeah, I feel like this one's really unique. It's on the ocean, has an infinity pool, a nice little all glass courtyard. I don't know. So far, I just think it's turning out to be a really great build. And a little bit more in the front, I think we start adding the, oh no, not the fountains yet. We do fountains in the front, and they end up looking really cool. They end up being the feature of the front, which is really nice. Yeah, here's where the windows get a lot better. The black windows were just like killer. They were so heavy, and I just didn't like it. I couldn't do it. So we come back in, make the windows white, and tint the windows white instead of black as well. And it looks just as private, but it's like not so heavy looking. So yeah, in that manner, I think it was really successful to switch the windows up to this white. And yeah, you'll see that I'm doing the all white windows on the all white portion of the house because I thought maybe do white and black windows, but that gets changed too. We come back in and knock out all the black windows and change them all to white ones. It's actually kind of annoying, but we did it. It was worth it. And that like deep violet color and that sky blue are like one of my favorite color combinations. So yeah, aside from black and white, if you can't tell. So yeah, I want to use those colors and I will use them in another build, but they just didn't suit the style we were going for here. And yeah, so we're moving these rocks around one more time because I realized they intersect into the house and that's really annoying. I think yeah, we're just coming around and doing little touches at this point. The majority of the back of the house and the sides are done, and I'm still like procrastinating on doing the front because I don't know what I want to do. And yeah, those are where that's where I switched the front windows to the other Into the Future skinny windows. And yeah, just not a huge fan. It's way too heavy looking on the right side. And we add these flowers to see what it looks like on the front. I know that growing flowers that close to the shore is probably impossible, but yeah, I thought I needed something in the front, so that's what we did. Yeah, what are we doing at this point? We're just scrolling around. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we do terrain painting. Just needed to get a little sand down in the front. I felt like that really brought the beach to the front of the house instead of making it just like all grass rather in the front. So yeah, and that I think it looked really cool. I end up bringing the rocks all the way up that side of the house, except in front of the wooden part that's in the water. And yeah, that looked really cool. It really like brought the whole theme together. The front and the back of the house kind of merged or started to at this point. And yeah, just dropping in more of those Island Paradise rocks. Like I said, it takes forever, but we're almost done, I promise. Or are we? I could be lying. And yeah, we add that fence over that deck over the water, and I end up really liking that. It really breaks up the side of that house. It was just looking so long and so blue. It just really needed something to break up that big streak of blue. And I think that deck was the perfect thing to do it. Yeah, that's the basic shape of the right side of the house. I come in and do a little bit of landscaping off camera just because this build was getting forever long and it's just a tree. So, yeah, I filmed or didn't film rather off camera for about um 20 or 30 minutes and just did small touches like adjusting flowers so they're not overlapping into the house and stuff like that. That would have been boring for you to watch. Yeah, that's where the oh no, we keep it still for a little bit. That's all right. It gets nixed soon. I'll be happy to see it go. Yeah, here's where we are restructuring the front so it's just normal foundation. And that worked a lot better for me, I think. I just don't think the stilts matched the style. So, yeah, it gets changed. Yeah, just rearranging more of these rocks here. They are a pain sometimes. You'll like place them on top of each other and then delete them and shuffle them around so you can get them to intersect the way you want. It's just not fun. Overall, just not fun. I was so ready to be done with the rocks at this point. But all of the annoyance was totally worth it. I think it is probably the best part of the build. So, yeah, I'm happy with it so far. And here I'm playing around with the idea of possibly putting a um, pond, not a pond, a fountain, laying the fountain in the foundation in the front. And we end up doing that, but for some reason I put like walls down. You can't put a fountain in walls like that. But yeah, we come back in, switch it up, and it ends up wrapping around the porch of the house and just being this really cool like waterwork feature. And I really like how it came out. And this is where the all white windows are like on the whole house. I start switching them up. It was a much needed change, honestly. So I'm happy that we did that because it really needed it. And that one window where it's being a pain and doubling up on the frame, I was thinking about making that wood textured so it wouldn't be so obvious that it was a double frame on it for some reason. So, yeah, I don't know. It just looked weird though, just like one other piece of wood. So, we didn't do it. There's a lot of things we tried and didn't do for this build. That's the theme. And here are the fountains I was talking about. We come in and change them to the same like dark blue tile that we used in the pool. And just experimenting with some colors, maybe using that dark blue color in the house or on the exterior, but we just limit it to the fountain area. Yeah, we are playing with the fence now, trying to figure out what texture. I think we just stick with all white though. I think that ended up being what we stayed with. Yep, just just finishing up these fences. I don't know why we're taking so long to do it. But all of the annoyances of how long this build took me, it's totally worth it because I know Deli's going to do an awesome job on the interior and I'm so excited to see what she comes up with. I'm excited to get feedback for it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great time. And we do, yeah, change the other windows. That's right. We change them to white as well and fix up some of the tints on the windows and stuff. Just final touches on the house before we hand it off. Oh, yeah, all these windows need to become white too. And we still need to get rid of that rooftop garden. It does not look good. It needs to go. And yeah, when the windows were black, I painted the wall beneath it black. So on the corners where they junctioned, it didn't look obvious. So yeah, we go back in and change that in a little bit as well. And here's what I meant by wrapping the water feature around the front of the house. It just like looks like an arm that is like connected from the house to the porch and it really ties the two pieces together, I think. At least that was the goal. So, and just changing the front of it to an all white again and we put black like a tar type texture on the front porch. And I was just because I used a little bit of black, but not a lot, so I wanted something else to be black other than just like I don't even know what that's called on the floor tiles where you can change the edge of it. So yeah, I just brought a little bit more black into the house on the front, and it really tied it together, I think. Yep, changing the shade on that window, getting it just right. For some reason it was off. And yeah, we are nearing the end of the video here. This has been a really fun build to make. I know I've said it a bunch, but I'm really excited to see what Deli comes up with. She's fantastic at interiors, and can only be a great thing. So yeah, keep an eye out for her video for sure. And just this feature in the middle of the house just seemed so sluggish and so dark and depressing, and bringing white in really made a huge difference. And on the back wall of the courtyard opposite the door, you'll see that I changed those windows to a wood texture so they match the wall that they're on in the courtyard. You'll see in a moment. And yeah, it looks a lot better. There was something weird about it and I couldn't pin it. And then I saw I saw what it was. And yeah, I didn't want to limit the courtyard and put too much stuff in it. I wanted Deli to really like incorporate that into her design how she wanted to. So yeah, I left that basically as empty as I wanted. I just tossed in two trees. And yeah, we used a little bit of black right there on the stairs, or we do in a moment actually, we change it. And yeah, here the little shrubs are no, the hydrangeas rather that we put in. And yeah, it just needed some sort of green on the front of the house, and I used these flowers. And then what's the name of the tree? I don't know. There's a tree that came with Island Paradise that we use in the front right there by the rocks. And I think I tossed it in off camera, but you'll see it at the end of the video. And yeah, just finalizing some final touches with the rocks. It's like a never ending part of this house. But yeah, that is basically the end of the design for this house. We do like really minimal landscaping and change the texture of the floor on the porch. And that basically does it for the video, I think. We finish up the final touches in the last, like, what, 1 minute that's left of the video. And yeah, guys, that's going to do it for me. I want to say thank you to Deli for doing this collaboration with me. It's going to be awesome. It's the most fun I've had making YouTube videos yet, so I'm really excited. And yeah, click the links below for the next part of this video and for the download link, and enjoy what's left in the video. Thanks, guys.